Welcome, welcome, welcome to Tea Time with Lynn and Carmen. Tea Time is a series that I designed to highlight my creative friends and talk about their journey, their purpose, how they self care, and a little bit of love and relationships. So today, my co star, Carmen, who joins me every second Tuesdays, is going to be joining me, and we're going to dive on in and talk about dating, especially dating in this digital world. Let me see if she's ready. And until then, when you enter, go ahead and drop your name and where you're joining from, as well as any comments or questions. Definitely add them to the chat. We love to engage. This is a conversation between me and Carmen, as well as all of you watching. So I hope that you enjoy. Hey, cuz, I see you on there. Hope you are well. Let me see if Carmen is ready. Oh, I forgot I also did a poll this week. So I'm going to see if we're going to add a little bit of some information from the polls that you all were so awesome in responding. And we're going to get started. Carmen, you ready? Yes, she is ready. Now, one thing I told y'all I was swapping out my tea for wine, so I got a little peach Moscato. I don't really drink Moscato, but the peachy part of it called my name. Carmen, I can't see you.
I'm trying to fix. Hold up. Sorry.
No problem. Oh, she have to join add her again. So shout out to everybody that's joining Tea Time with Lynn. It's so nice to see you all. Go ahead and drop where you're tuning in from. I know I have somebody from Texas tuning in, but where's everybody else coming from? Corey, you know what? I saw somebody that looked just like you yesterday. I was like, he looked familiar. He was driving to Target. I was leaving Tajay. Okay, Carmen, you coming back in? Well, while I wait for Carmen to send me a message, send me a request. Oh, you ready? Is that for you? That's for me, Carmen. Carmen, go ahead and send me that request. Where you going to Target on not Southgate, on Clark Street? Yeah, that was you. I haven't seen you in years, so I don't know what you look like at first glance. Okay, let me get Carmen back in here. Oh, okay. All right. Carmen's back. Oh, so it was you, Corey. Hey.
Did I do it right?
Yeah, but your hand it's like your hand is in front of the camera. There you go.
Hi.
What happened?
Girl. I don't know. Hey, y'all.
Special. Well,
I am.
I see I missed a call from you, but I was putting my makeup on and stuff. I was getting ready,
It's fine.
Had to get cute.
Totally fine.
Yes. Okay, how you doing?
I'm good. I am really good. I'm going to claim greatness and goodness today. I am.
That sounds real scary, girlfriend.
Oh, do not be afraid. All is well. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling okay. Last week was really busy and just a lot of an emotional roller coaster. So my intention this week is that it's just gonna be very smooth and pleasant, and that I was just gonna do, remove the things that weren't necessarily due today and do this week and just focus on, I don't want to say doing the bare minimum, but focusing on lessening the load this week. So that's all, man. I'm feeling pretty good though.
That's good. That's great.
Yes. So we are going to be talking about dating. Dun, dun, dun. Wine too. What you drinking?
It's some special tea.
Special tea. That's funny.
Literally special tea. I did. I barely made it, but I'm here and I'm grateful. So I decided to celebrate with a specialty drink.
Well, let's cheer
Watermelon
to
flavor.
that. We made it.
Cheers.
Clink.
Yes.
Okay. So I didn't get a chance to go over our notes, but I have like the notes that we when we talked the other day. I also have my calendar pulled up.
All right.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
This gonna be juicy. I'm ready.
You think it's gonna be juicy? I don't know. I feel like aside from the time where we talked in February before Valentine's Day, I don't necessarily like really publicly tell the juicy stuff. So
Oh, with
like
this topic, I'm sorry. Yeah. I have stories.
okay, well this gonna be fun. So I hope people that are watching, I hope you all enjoy. I forgot to say something. Everybody that's watching, go ahead and share with 2 or 3 or 5 of your friends, and I'm gonna do the same thing because I always forget to share. So let me
Me
do that,
too.
and then Carmen, make sure you share to some people too, and get some people on this line.
Yes,
On,
yes, yes,
on the
yes, yes.
line. Okay. All right, I'm ready. I just sent it to like everybody that I could.
There you go. And I'm doing it too.
Okay. Okay. So while you do that,
I'm here.
I'm gonna go ahead and like kick this off by acknowledging that April. This is April, right? Yes. I'm gonna go ahead and acknowledge that April is National Poetry Month. Woo woo. And so yeah, Carmen, you being the resident spoken word artist of this duo, um, do you have anything like special to say about National Poetry Month? I don't know. It
You
could be
know,
like what this means to you, or how you celebrate it, or how you have. I don't know, something a little anecdote.
okay. So I'm gonna be very honest and transparent. I did not prepare anything today. And my boss, she put me on the spot to do a poem in a town hall meeting. I don't know why she did it, but it's fine. So Poetry Month, what it means to me is, I really started doing poetry and everything with my mentor, like, man, like over 10 years ago now. A mentor, she saw me perform and she wanted me to come and start teaching this nonprofit program called Color Girls Are Cover Girls.
Yeah,
And it's a spoken word program, and it also does it's also about female empowerment, and there's a group specifically for young ladies to share out what they're going through, what their struggles are, and to put all of that into a poetry form, and they perform it throughout the city of Chicago and everything. So, I wrote a little bit, but working with them, it has really exercised just a deeper meaning because it's such a creative art form or whatever.
yeah,
So, going to the scene, going to open mics and everything, you have an opportunity to hear other people creatively express themselves in poetic and spoken word form. And it is every April. So I always like to I'm part of this group. We do little haikus. And the haiku is just like a short poem piece. It's a 5-7-5. So it's like, the first line is 5 syllables, the second line is 7 syllables, and then the next line is 5 syllables. So you only use a few words. It's a short piece, but it allows you to really be creative and express yourself, poetically and artistically. So, yeah, so it means a lot to me. My mentor, she actually passed about 4 years ago. So it's always a meaningful moment and occasion. So, just sharing some little pieces here and there, posting some videos and stuff, and always encouraging my former mentees or friends and everything to like, let's get activated in this spoken word or poetry month and everything. So it means a lot, and I'm trying to do more with it. So yeah.
well, that's wonderful. Thank you for sharing.
No problem.
That is so eloquently. But when you mentioned haiku, ironically, and I'll tell you why. Today I've heard mention of haiku twice today. Isn't that sounds right?
Cool.
But I feel like when you said haiku, I was reminded of a time in, I guess it was high school, and we were supposed to write a haiku. It might even been No, I wasn't grammar school. It was high school. And I just did not understand how,
Yeah.
what I'm supposed to say in this
Mm-hmm.
short little piece of creative work. And now that you're saying it's syllables, I'm equally still perplexed at it. Like, how is five syllables? Five syllables, seven syllables. I just said five syllables. See, that's seven. Okay. But anyway, that was what, 3 words?
Yeah, it's a good measurement though. So it allows you to be really creative. It doesn't always have to make sense line by line. You know, poetry is more descriptive. And so when you think about descriptions, you think about your senses, you know, smell, taste, see, feel. And I think I'm missing another one. Hear.
Here.
So, right. So, you know, you can start making comparisons, like, you know, you could say, you know, you're hot like the sun, or, you know, you're sweating, or so you know, it could go in so many different ways of however you want your poetry to be. But, you know, if you want to do that one, it's like, I am real cool. No, I am cool today. And I want to be hot though.
Okay.
So I chill now today. I don't know, but that was literally a haiku. It's Japanese. And, you know, it started off with just sentences, but you could take it wherever. And people have taken it so far because people are creative, especially my people. We're really creative, and we can make something so beautiful and natural, and it could go into different genres, and any age could tap into it. So let me know when you're ready to segue into where it can go.
Oh, awesome. So a quick shout out to all those people that are out watching on the live right now. Go ahead and drop where you are tuning in from. And today, Carmen and I were talking a little bit about our creative journeys, but more so about dating. Because I remember, Carmen, there's a question that I want to talk about in regards to being a creative person and being an artist, as well as trying to date. So, so what I was gonna say was, last week, whenever that was, when we met, I actually forgot to say that I had an interview for a part-time job working with a poetry foundation. So I started today. Yeah, I started today as temporary program and planning coordinator for a poetry foundation. So in honor of Poetry Month,
that's perfect.
Poetry.
There you go. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So let's see. Just to recap, we're talking about dating then and now because we got so inspired by watching Versus for Easter with Earth, Wind, and Fire and the new zaddy on the team, Ron Isley.
Can I say something? That was a whole glow up for him. And who would have thought that at 79 or 74, at one of those, that you could really glow up at that age and be snackalicious? Like, damn. Because he was not that fine back in the day. He wasn't. I'm just being honest. I love him. He dope, but he was not fine. He was just a pretty boy.
Yeah.
Pretty man.
Yeah, I concur. I don't want to get roasted for talking about one of our living legends, but I second. Right. Don't nobody come for us in the replay. Oh, God. We just saying what some of y'all thinking.
Because a lot of people said it already.
Right. That exactly already. But you know what? Yes. So is it? I am LaCourte said Mr. Big is a whole snack. He was.
Yes, Courtney. Yes. That beard does wonders for people. People don't realize a beard can really change.
That's what I mean. Wait, let's segue on the beards, okay? Because I feel strong about beards. I feel like beards. I always say this: beards are transformative. Like, oh my God! Like somebody when they put on this beard, it's just the level of maturity. And don't let it have gray hairs in it. Oh, I'm with it.
A little salt. Put a little salt in there.
Yeah, like, or if it's got like some little grays, a little patch of gray on the side. Come on.
Yes.
Like, I am so
yes
with it. And so that's one magical thing that came out of the pandemic because stop shaving that hair.
Girl.
Keep them. And don't take
Yes.
them off until you ask one of your female friends or your significant other. But you have to get permission.
You need consultation. No, that is real. So I see my friend Dad, she said the beard is transformative. So look, we used to we power. I am a powerhouse. Like, I love power. So you know Ghost, right? He got fine with that beard. Like, he got fine. Like, he was already fine, but damn, like, he got fine. Like, for real. Like, he can't. I'm not gonna say he can't do no wrong, but you know.
Yeah, them beards. I'm here to tell you, like, so in the realm of dating for my future bae, either I gotta meet him without the beard so I can see, you know, is he cute without the beard? You know, am I attracted to this man without the beard? Or if I meet him with the beard, he probably can't ever take it off until like till I see some pictures. Like, let me see.
Right.
What this beard is hiding, because, you know, it could be hiding some things too.
I mean, it could. And that's what I was going to say. Like, you know, I'm curious. I know we're kind of going off, but like,
it's okay.
I'm curious about like the importance of appearance when it comes to dating, because I haven't dated anyone ugly. I have not dated anyone ugly. They all are attractive. And some of them, they're just attractive in different ways.
Right.
I love a great.
Like you were saying he was kind of ugly though.
No. I know, right? I gotta get a nice personality, right? But no, but like for me, like the personality and the connection, it really means so much more to me. Now, I'm not saying that you got to be super duper fine, but you know, there's people who are super fine that I would not talk to at all because their character or their personality is whack. But when I'm thinking about beards, I've seen people who had the beard and then they shaved it, and I was like, ooh. Or, okay, well, you know, he has other things that, you know, I can work with. So it's not that bad, but it is a dramatic, it can be a change. Just like a woman cutting her hair. Like when I used to have long hair, I used to do the wrap, then I did the mohawk. Now, boom. You know what I'm saying? And there are people who could be like, I like hair. There are men who like hair, and then there are men who, they don't care how you rock it. So yeah, I just thought about that as you were talking. You know how I go.
Okay, but listen though, is that settling? If you're like, I mean, I'm just playing. This is kind of rhetorical, but also a real question. Like, you know, and I'm going to say this because I'm going to preface this by saying that in my dating experience this past year, there have been a couple guys where I'm like, I mean, you know, let me see. And then after I just found out, like, exactly, like, who they were, maybe it was some guy that I actually liked. But when the shit was over, I was just like, that's what I'm saying. Like,
His ugly ass. I like you.
But I should have just kept it moving.
Some people, they ugly come out when it's over. It's like, I should have dealt with your little ugly stuff. I don't like calling people ugly, you know, just to preach this thing. I don't like the. But
yeah. I mean, I call people that I don't find attractive. Either I don't find them attractive or uncute. You know, I like to make up. I don't know if I like this, but yeah, I like to make up my own words. So uncute just seems like a really nice way.
It's fitting
to say, and it can also be like an attitude thing, whatever. But let me see. So who else but Mason? Corey, I'm just now realizing how long your name is. He said facial hair was a whole transformation for me, 100, and I will approve. Yes, I've seen that beard. Yep. I mean, I literally, whenever I see like my male friends posting about their beards on Facebook, I make sure to take the time and comment and let them know, yes, this is the direction.
Really? But like, see, this is my thing. I gotta be feeling bad because like there are people who have a struggle beard. They can't, their hair is, some things just don't connect. Right. Or like the beard is irritating. Like it irritates their face and stuff. Listen. So it's like, I don't want the stigma to be you ain't fine if you don't have a beard, or you ain't, you know.
Yeah, I agree. And I will say, like, I don't know, I cannot think of any guy friends that have had this beard and I was like, oh, they wasn't cute, now this beard made them better. It's really just been an enhancement. Like, damn, yes, you
like
should keep
makeup.
this beard. You know, like, so it's just more of a reinforcement, because I think that, and like any guys on here, you all can chime in, but like, you know, when you keep your face kind of baby face, or maybe you keep like a nice cool mustache, or whatever that your dig is that you got going
After
on,
five.
like that's something that maybe you wanted to explore beard. And then, you know, it's the same thing with getting a new haircut. Like, you're just kind of like, does this beard really look good? I mean, I think it looks good, but I want a little bit of approval. So I like to make sure that I add that little bit of, yes, let us work this, let us work with this beard.
And I'll just say, I'll lick your face, boy. I'll tell
Oops.
him.
Oops.
Sorry. Transparent moment. It's fine.
Random.
Safe space. IG is a safe space.
Yes, this is a safe space with the whole internet world now. We can go on Instagram Live forever. So yes. Okay, let's get down to some of the meat. Now we're also going to, so we're talking about dating then and now, inspired by our little versus thing, because the Isley brothers were very intentional in talking about music back in the day as they were creating it. And I forgot the exact words that I always forget the brother's name. You know, not Ron.
Steve Harvey?
No,
Ron, Ernie. I mean,
yes.
was it Ernie?
Yeah,
okay.
I was gonna say Ernie. Oh God, help us, Lord. So anyway, Ernie, or Brother Isley, said that when they wrote the lyrics with the intention of complimenting a woman. And it resonated with me, like, wow, like they had me in mind when they wrote these lyrics. And Carmen and I were talking in our little brainstorm meeting about how the difference is, like, back then dating had a little bit more intention than it seems to have now in this digital world. And while we know that there was still some jacked up things that happened back in the day in the dating realm, like they had their own mess. There's something about the courting process and the dating process that is definitely different than it is now in these times. So we want to kind of talk about some of those differences, and talk about how we set up and manage expectations with our potential mates, how we shift from in and out of the friend zone, because now, you know, it does feel like, I don't know, that the dating pool is, I don't know, smaller, or maybe the quality is a little bit not where we would like it to be. So sometimes you do consider your friends, or sometimes you don't consider your friends as a result. And then we wanted to also talk about manipulation tactics like gaslighting, bombing, what was some other thing?
Friend zoning.
Yes. So okay, Carmen, I'm gonna let you take this next segment away, and we'll get into it.
Okay, so you said a lot, and I'm not taking notes, and I don't have a great memory, but I remember some stuff. So this is the first thing. So dating back then, like, to how our parents grew up and the music that they listened to that probably conceived us or whatever, and the music now, like the music then and dating and the music now, like it is totally different. You know what I mean? And when you talk about Ron Isley, how he said, like, you know, he had this music with, you know, with us in mind and everything, with women in mind, it's like, man, romance women. Like there was a courting, there was I want to make sure that you're good. But then there was, you know, there was things that women were or were not doing that allowed for that to happen.
Yeah.
And so sometimes it's just like, what's the norm now? Sometimes it's, you know, I remember I had a conversation with a friend, and they were saying how the shift of music, and I'm not down talking any type of music genre that's out that's hot right now, but there's a lot more hip hop and pop music than R&B music or artists being established. Yeah. And back in the day, I mean, you could go back way back when it was, you know, music, it was romantic, it was poetic, and, you know, things weren't just so explicit, you know what I mean? So it's like there was a flow to like how music was. And it's like, you know, marriages, their marriages lasted longer. Now, granted, I know my grandmother and mothers and stuff like that. They put up with some things that they probably shouldn't have, that we would not put up with now,
Yeah.
just for that relationship, just for their family and stuff like that. But just thinking about like how music is now, and how like hip hop and a lot more other fast beat music, or just some of the lyrics that are happening, like
Yeah.
it affects us, and it affects us in ways where it's like, there's nothing wrong with, women speaking about how independent they are, or
Yeah.
of just being an advocate for their sexuality and everything. But there was chivalry, you know what I mean? There was just different things that allowed women to feel safe, or feel like they're courting, feel like they're dating and stuff. And now it just shifted a little bit. And I just think sometimes I feel like music does play a part in that, because like that's what gets us going. Like that's that one art form that a majority of people that they lean on,
Yeah.
is music, and how it's influential. The music itself, the production of it, the lyrics, everything. It plays a major factor. So thinking about,
Yeah.
the 90s beyond, and before,
Yeah.
and then 2000 and now, it's a shift. It's a lot of things, happening or not happening. Divorce rates and marriage rates, and who loves who and how you love.
Yeah.
It does play a part. So
Trauma
I
bond.
could clap it right there. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah,
Hey, Corey.
I miss mixtapes. Like,
Ah.
ooh,
Oh, when they made
like,
CDs for you. Did you ever
I,
guys make a CD for you?
yes, like I miss it. I can't remember the last time that somebody has made me a mixtape, but it's something about when somebody sits and thinks about these set of songs.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
for you, and shit, maybe they sent it to 5 or 6 other women, but still,
Yes. It's
like,
okay.
what was some of the song? Who's C Dillinger? Is this the other Corey?
It's Corey. Yes.
Hey, other Corey. But Corey also, tell us what type of songs you put on your mixtape. I want to know. But
It was.
being
Hey,
able to
Amisha.
say
I'm sorry.
that these mixtape songs, they didn't have to be sexual. They were romantic. And how you could be so romantic and so poetic and flowery and descriptive with your words,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you know, like that is a skill, okay? And that is definitely something that I miss. So I hope, as an artist now, like deeper as as now being an artist, I'm hoping that my future bae knows. Make me mixtapes. Like I need a whole bunch of mixtapes all the time, or
Girl.
playlist. I mean,
Girl, I remember I was in college, and I was dating this guy. He was a big music head. So I knew any type of music he touched, it was going to be a banger. So
yeah.
he made me like a CD, and it was full of like Belleville DeVoe, Babyface, Bobby Valentino, Blackberry Molasses. I only think of you on 2 occasions. Like all that stuff. I was like, oh, I felt so loved. And because I'm a words person, words are really important to me. I
Yes.
listened to the lyrics like, oh, this is really, that's what you think? Okay. So now, you have guys who may share a playlist, from
Yes.
I'm big on Spotify and Tidal. So it's like they'll share their playlist. So some of the stuff, like some of them, they're bangers, but then it's just like, you just, you kind of just talking about a part of my body, or what you're going to
Yes.
do to it
Right.
and stuff. It's flattering, but I
Yeah.
mean,
Talk about how I make you feel when you wake up in
right.
the morning.
Do I give you butterflies?
Right. Do I give you butterflies? That.
Right.
Yes. Absolutely. I love that. I'm gonna start saying that. But do I give you butterflies though?
Right.
I love that. So it's something else I was gonna say. When you said that you didn't know what happened in the shift, and right when you said that, I thought about something that was a revelation to me earlier this year. Is that I think either women forgot or men forgot or we all forgot that we are the prize. And like, and also that we're starting in this new way of self-discovery, and back to our favorite topic, self-care. Like we're learning that maybe we haven't loved ourselves as much as we thought, or in a way that we knew was actually like love. Or so you know, as we have begun to love ourselves more, for those who have done the self-care work and emotional work, our mindset has shifted towards what we will and will not tolerate. But also what happens though is as we keep our boundaries as a way to filter in and out the bullshit, sometimes we break down a little bit and we just deal with whatever is available. So like, I'm gonna be honest, you know, we've all dealt with like that guy, like, well, you know, in the meantime guy, or the right now guy. So you know, with so many things that came into play, but I think at the core of it is that we forgot we were the prize. Like, we can do those things and we still need to remember that we are the prize. So before you hold on your next thing you about to say, I know
Thank
it's
you.
coming. Shout out to everybody that has joined us. We got Windy City Bell, C. Dillinger, Nikolai 13, Forever Jinx, Miss Brown Eyed Girls. Shout out to all of you wonderful people. A Home Mez. I don't know why I'm trying to read these handles. Sounded like somebody. Hey everybody. If you have any questions or comments for Carmen and I in regards to anything in regards to dating, we're basically comparing dating then versus now. That back in the day, old school type of dating, whenever that old school was for you, versus this digital world of dating that we are encountering now. And then I'm going to add that we're also dealing with the pandemic dating, also, which we didn't really talk about that in our brain.
Ooh, we will.
So anyway, drop where you're tuning in from, engage with us, and share with a couple of your friends, 2 or 3 friends. Just go ahead and hit that little share button and tap on a few names, and bring some more people in the room. Okay, help us be successful with Lynn and Carmen. Okay, Carmen, go ahead with your next thought.
So I had this conversation a few years ago, and I'm not big on pointing fingers, but I know that there have been men that I've spoken with who basically broke it down to, like, if women would not, you know, be open to have sex as, you know, as quick, you know, that will set the standard. And so I'm curious to what people think about that. And I'm going to go on to speak on that a little bit more. And of course, I know you got something to say, because, you know, that triggered me at first. I'm just like, wait, what? How is it the woman's fault? Because if a guy knows what he's supposed to do, blah, 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 blah. But the thing is, though, like, guys, you know, y'all can chime in, please do. But, you know, guys, they have a bigger option. You know, they have a wide range of women who will do whatever. Now, once upon a time, back in the day, it was like, I'm not giving you the cookie unless you marry me. Like that's what the standard was. I'm not, of course, some people just, you know, breeze through it, but there was a large number, a higher number of women were just like, I'm going to hold this down until you give me a ring, period. But now we're morphing into this, you know, women who probably want more attention, or, you know, it's just, you really want to fight for this guy, or you realize that you're outnumbered, or whatever the case is. But it's like, we're not waiting until marriage anymore. We let them have it. You know what I'm saying? And I get the advocacy of women where it's like, this is my body. This is what I want to do. I want to have sex. So I should be able to do that, period. And, you know, and I know that's a whole nother conversation where it's like, yeah, you're reclaiming this thing, and you're a vocal sexual being, and there's nothing wrong with being a sexual being. But you go to Steve Harvey and his 3, you know, his 90-day rule and stuff. And I know some people, they don't really care for Steve Harvey or the 3-month thing. I get it. But I wonder if there is some relevance to that. I wonder if like, that is a real thing. And maybe we're messing up the formula a little bit. You know, I don't know. It's a very convoluted thing, and I'm not making a decision. I'm not saying it is or it isn't, but I am curious, and it does make me make a decision about, like, how am I going to operate moving forward? Because I grew up Baptist, you know, I grew up traditional Baptist, and it was like, and my mom is a traditional person. She, you know, she's a product of a baby boomer, so it's like we didn't even talk about sex. We didn't even have that conversation, and if it was just like, just make sure that if you choose to, I hope you don't, just use a condom, and that was it. I got most of my sexual information from my best friend.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Who was active. So I'm all over the place, but what I am saying is, the whole if women, held down a little bit, if they kept their cookie to themselves a little bit longer, men would know that they have to do more work. They will feel like there is a fight to pursue this person. It's not just it's an easy pass, just going on. So that's a conversation that's always resurfaces for me.
Yeah. Oh, that was a lot, girl. I don't even know
I
where
know.
I'm sitting like, wait. In my mind, it's like before I can even formulate a thought, another thought comes into play. But what grounds me is right here. First of all, I want to say that Carmen and I are advocates for sexual liberation.
Please liberate yourself, sis,
We are
bro.
advocates, so don't take
Love yourself.
anything misconstrued. We're just trying to dissect and figure out where how we can bridge the gap in women and men, men and men, women and women, whatever it is, how we can bridge the gap in having better relationships, having better romantic relationships, and how we can make that work and help each other. So one thing, Carmen, in lines with that, I thought about just going back to the management of the setting up and management of expectations, right? So here's the thing. A lot of times, in my experience, I'm gonna bring it back to an I statement. Maybe and even in women that I have known and had conversations with, and also a conversation that I had with a male friend early January, right? We talked about how like different people have different I guess intentions is almost what I'm trying to say, but different goals. Intentions, but different goals. Like we might meet a guy that we just want to mess around with, right? That we're not taking too seriously. But as we become closer to that person, as we spend more time with them, as we enjoy them more, our intentions, our needs, our wants change. And so then when we change, something needs to happen in between that communication.
Yeah.
Hey, boo, I like you more than just a fuck buddy. What you think? And then the other person being able to be open and communicative and responsive enough to say how they feel. Whether that's, I ain't really feeling that. Can we keep moving XYZ? Or sure, let's think about it on XYZ date. Like, manage the relationship. And so what always gets missing is that there's a lack of management in the relationship. And so then there's another thing where, like, just as much as you have to be open in communicating your needs and your wants and your timeline or whatever it is without being heavy in emotion, you also have to be open to receiving that person can choose whether to be with you or to not be with you. And then after you receive that information, you have to have your boundaries in place, your personal boundaries and your self-control in place to say, I ain't with it, I'm out, or all right, cool, I'm going to stay, or I'm going to stay until XYZ month, and then I'm going to keep it moving. And so that is the process by just as much as we do it in our professional relationships and in our purchasing relationships, our home buying relationships, we need to have the same accountability in our romantic relationships. And so if I tell a guy, hey, I like you more than when we first started out, and he tells me, well, I still want to do this thing, I can't stay in that internal mess, because then it becomes an internal mess and a whirlwind of problems if I stay and go against what's true to myself and go against what's authentic to me. And so I think that's just my piece. Like, we're missing the communication piece, and I think that we shouldn't get upset when somebody's like, no, I'm not feeling that, because that's their choice,
No, really, just finding, I think that the caveat is finding peace with that person's decision and knowing that you can't control how they feel. Like, I even saw I was watching Divorce Court. I love watching that. I don't know why. But there is this guy who was literally saying that he did not want to be with her anymore. And so she got mad. She was like, oh, you know what? He about to make me go off, blah, blah, blah. And so she was like, wait, listen. He's telling you that he does not want to be with you. And you have to accept that. And that was hard for her. Like, she kept trying to say things until a point where she just like, let me just be, let me take that. And that's hard because we really, really, sometimes when you're with somebody and you really enjoy what's happening,
Yeah.
you have an expectation now.
Yes.
And if they don't meet that expectation, you got to find a piece where it's just like, all right, cool. Like that's what it is. And you have to accept that. And sometimes we're too involved, or we want too much of something where it's like, let me change them. Or I know what they like, or I know what I need to do. So let me fix that. And I know some people, it may have worked, but but at the same time, like you can't change anybody. You cannot control anybody's mind, no matter how much you try to be sexier or you try to buy them more things or cater to their love language or whatever the case is. If they're not present, you have to be okay and know that there are more things, that are more things out there, are more people out there. Like, I'm gonna say this real quick.
Yeah.
Women, especially our age, like we're in our 30s, right? And so we feel like there's this limit to guys, like there's this cap, like it's only, this. It's only a certain amount of guys. It's only like 15 women to one guy. So, we kind of got to settle or deal with things. It's like, no, like there's somebody for me. There's somebody significant for me. And I'm not going to cater to this cap that people are saying. But that comes with life. That comes with experience. And a lot of people, they're just not at place to accept, to be at peace with what is being shared and what is being said and what they should do after that. Because, you want what you want.
Now, another thing about managing and setting expectations and boundaries and all that, is that we have more choices now in regards to our mental space and our mental capacity has been more enlightened to what our options are.
Mm-hmm.
And so, therefore, we have a vast array of what our choices are, even in just our sexual preference, the heterosexual relationship isn't always the thing anymore, or polyamorous, or maybe it's just that somebody wants to date but they never want to get married. Like, it's so many different choose your own adventures in this dating thing.
Oh, girl, don't get me started on the barbershop talk, because
and then it's like you can choose your own adventure with emotional maturity, with the time and place in somebody's life, like 37, 25, 44, have kids, not have kids, divorce. Like, it's so much. It's not black and white. It's not a clear process. And and sometimes I've been like, oh, I hate that it's not a clear process. But then also it's like, I love having choices and choose your own adventure in every other realm of my life.
Yep.
It's just harder to embrace it in the dating for me. But dating has always been, or dating and romantic relationships has always been like one of my little recurring challenges. So, yeah.
No, I totally feel that, because I just feel like, sometimes, it's just a matter of knowing where I get why Steve Harvey says wait 90 days before you have sex with somebody. I get it. I don't follow it all the time, but I get why, because you allow yourself to really get to know somebody and see where that maturity level is. Y'all, as y'all coming in, like, chime in, whatever y'all feel, whatever y'all thinking, like, definitely add in the comments. Like, we feed off of that. We love that. Yeah. But just, just thinking about, like, everybody, I'll even say this. There have been times where I see a guy who's really successful and he's, he's good on paper, or you see how he treats his family or something like that. So you're like, oh, there's this maturity. Like, he's goal oriented, or he's what I'm looking for. But sometimes those skills that he applies for work or his friends, they don't apply. I'm not even going to just say men. I'm just going to say in general, when you see people and you notice them and you notice, how they contribute to certain things that they do, you assume that that's going to be applied in the relationship. And that's not always the case sometimes. And you got to really, and the thing is, it's so hard to not get caught up in that, because you have this admiration for people. You're just like, oh, they doing this. They got money and they know how to manage this and they know how to cater to this. And oh my gosh, chivalry's not dead with this person, but when they with you, right, you don't get those benefits sometimes. And it's important to understand that and see that and know if they're applying it to you in a relationship or not. Yes. So yeah.
You reminded me of the video that I sent you, the Amanda Seals video. Did you get to watch it?
I think so.
Okay, so she was saying like similar things. Before I move on, let me say what's up. Let me see what's up in these comments. First,
y'all going in.
I know. Mark is like facts and face palms, and y'all, my mama in this room. I don't know if you're still in, but mama,
your mama's here. Yeah. My mom's limited to Facebook.
Right. So let's see. We got I am LaCourse said, "Men, tell us." I'm with it. Like, tell us. I forgot what the question was. I forgot what we were talking about.
We were talking about like just men and our expectations and stuff like that, and what men. Yeah, that's what she was chiming in on.
Yes. And true, you have to listen, be able to accept what they say. Got lots of yeses and praise hands up in here.
And that's the boss said something.
And raised his hand about I think that was around when we were talking about different choices and options and things of wants in relationships. Let's see. Che gave us a little thinking phase. I want to know what you thinking. You got lots to say.
And Mark said he's taking it all in. Like, what you got to say, Mark?
Mark said he saw my mama come in. Later, my mom's gonna be like, "Now, which one is Mark? Mark who? Mark's mom." And then, I'm like, "I only know like."
You lucky. You lucky.
All right, so let's move on. Okay, so we talked about setting up and managing expectations. Oh, the Man of Seals thing. Yes, she basically said what you said about, we think that if somebody is great in other areas, they're gonna be awesome with you. But the thing is, if they're not showing you awesome with you, then they're not gonna be awesome with you. Like they are choosing to not be awesome with you. And my friend, one of my line sisters that sent me that, she sent that to me and she was like, "Well, what are your thoughts?" Right? And I'm gonna go ahead and read some of it. I was like, I said, let's see. I said, she mentioned the Man of Seals video mentioned emotional availability, and I was like, their level of emotional availability, intelligent, and lack of willingness to be vulnerable. I believe people aren't great with you because they choose not to be. Whether that's that they choose because they know they have work to do and aren't willing to dedicate their time to be great with you, or because they simply lack the intelligence to make a conscious choice. So their subconscious makes the choice for them by their actions. And it's up to either the other person to read those actions as a sign to fall back and move on. And so it goes back to my point about like, somebody is telling you, whether it's verbally or whether it's in their actions, what they gonna do and what they not gonna do. And we just like, well, if I just stay a little bit longer. No, you stay a little bit longer. They just assume that you are in agreement with whatever shit that you're giving you.
Yes. No, that's so real, because I like, my thing is, I feel like there's a larger population, y'all correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like there's a larger population of people where they feel like they're not what you are worth, and they will still, and so they sabotage. Right. To a certain degree, and that's a whole self-conscious thing that they have, even though you think the world of them. You can be like, "Oh my God, you're great. You're dope. You do this, you do that. I see the beauty in who you are." But it's like, sometimes if they don't see that, they will self-sabotage, and they will, they'll start doing certain things. So, it's like, I know that I could be a people pleaser sometimes, or I'm like, "Oh no, but you really are great. You're really doing this." But as I get older, I don't have the time or the patience to cater to that type of manipulation, because it's just like, I see myself as here, and I'm just trying to go higher. And if I got somebody who's just like, they're just taking it all in and stuff, it's like, what are we doing, and why? We're wasting each other's time. And then when you see them with somebody else, there's one part where it's just like, well, why did they, they didn't see the worth in me, but they see it in them. You have that moment, but then it's just like they're dealing with the bullshit that I dealt with too. And they just, and they're willing to deal with it. Right. You know what I'm saying? People do change for whoever they choose to be with and stuff, but they still have certain characteristics that once upon a time you could not deal with, and that other person is dealing with it. So find a peace in that, because it's hard.
Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and segue that into that manipulation piece, because some people are hanging out with you, doing whatever you allow them to do, because there's somebody on the other side that has a higher standard than you, and
we're not dealing with that.
While her higher standard is there, I'm going to date her the way she wants to be dated while I fuck with you. No pun intended.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk a little bit about manipulation tactics, and it could even be as simple as somebody gaming you. So it don't even have to be like that deep or intentional, as like some of the other things we're talking about. But manipulation, for me, that goes back to like their actions and what we were saying about they're choosing not to operate with you in a certain way, subconsciously or consciously. Mm-hmm. So, but then you have people that are like, I'm going to tell her this to get what I want, and I'm going to keep telling her whatever it is I need to tell her to get what I want. And then when she or he, let me make this more general, when they, he, she, or he, she, or they are sad or feeling bad about it, I'm going to spend the time to manipulate them some more so that I can continue to get what I want. But it's crazy, like, this is a little tangent, but like, why don't they just put that much work into just being authentic and honest?
Their mental capacity is not there. The maturity is not there. And sometimes you would like to think that is there. You're just like, I am ready for this, or this is something that I want. But it's like, you got to do a self-scan of yourself. And if you know that you're just trying to do a certain thing, then be okay with that. Then just be honest with that. Like I have a friend, and she has, she got a baby, and everything like that. And she has some other deficiencies to a certain degree. But like, at the same time, she has these boundaries and she doesn't care. It's like, this is my boundary. This is what it is, period. And there are people who will follow that. They actually respect that because that says that they can trust you. Right. So if the thing is, if they choose not to fuck with you, that's good. Like, that's a block. I don't have to deal with this person. Yeah. But if they choose to, with your boundaries and stuff, it's like, okay, I respect this person. I see this person. I'm going to respect, where they are in that space and everything. But it's not always fluid like that because people just want what they want. There's a lot of opportunist people out here where it's just like, if they thick or they got a big dick or if they got money, if they got whatever the case is, people just want what they want without thinking long term until you probably reach a certain age or a point in your life where you're tired and you're giving these boundaries, but people are not giving boundaries. I know that I didn't always honor my boundaries because I just wanted what I wanted in the moment, or I am a people pleaser, or, just so many different things where we bend our rules for people, but you got to know how to manage that. Right. You really do.
Miss Brown Eyed Girl said, child, I remember that's when I was talking about that Amanda Seals video. Shay, and he's just listening, maybe you can learn something new. Hey, what's up to everybody that's joined? We got lots of people that's joined. So welcome to Tea Time with Lynn and Carmen. Every second Tuesday is Carmen and I. We jam and we talk about different topics. And today we're talking about dating then versus now. Whatever then is for you, now is more so specifically talking about dating with these new digital components of digital apps, social media, and all that jazz. So yeah, drop where y'all are y'all tuning in from. What's up to everybody that's joined? Now, Sky Diva said something, and I was almost like, yes, sis. But she said, honestly, I think it's a sis. I see it, but look, sorry, whoever this is, they said. Sky Diva said, honesty. Be honest about your intentions. Now, let me tell you something.
Yeah, that's my girl.
I was just talking to, and boundaries are important. Yes, they are, Miss A.O. So I was just talking to my homegirl at brunch a couple weekends ago, right? And I always say this line, and I say this to men or women. I'm like, and then they want to complain about us wanting to punch the windows out your car, like, because you ain't managed the person appropriately. Like, how you gonna call somebody crazy because they finally wild out on you? Like, no, they wild out on you because you did something. Like, it ain't just like always. Well, I mean, I'm sure certain instances are that somebody is maybe a little bit cray, but I will say that usually in some type of relationship situation, a boundary got busted way too many times. And that person got like, okay, this is how we gonna do this. But the other thing is, like, when I think about being honest about intentions, I go back to, that's how you manage the relationship, right? Like, if you meet a beautiful woman and you know you already in 2 or 3 other relationships, but maybe, you know, you want to find out eventually if you could be something, like, manage that relationship. Like, just be like, hey, sis, queen, your highness.
Your highness.
You know, I'm really feeling you. You got XYZ, you got swag, whatever, you know. But I'm in a thing, you know. But just like, or say something that is honest and authentic, that lets this person know that, like, I like you, but I'm also in something else. But if I become available, I would love to find out if you and I could be a thing. And I'm just saying these in general terms. I'm not saying it in the actual terms that I would like somebody to.
Yeah.
But just the idea of not screwing somebody over.
Yeah.
And just really being honest. Because to me, like, the guys that have been most honest with me, we're still cool. We've been able to be like, oh, okay, cool. I see her, even if it got so far as a phone call, like, oh, okay, cool. That doesn't work for me. Cool. When you not married no more, you know, or you know, whatever it is, when you're out of whatever situation you're in, then you come holler at me. And so, I'm cool with them, and I've been able to see them the next time, like maybe out and about, and be like, oh, hey, what's up? Whereas the man that didn't do that, the man that wasn't honest or ghosted or whatever they did, I've been like, oh, hell no. Like, they can never come back. They can't ever text me. They can't ever call me. You halfway say hi to me when you see me, because you didn't treat me like I would have treated you. You didn't give me the level of respect, and you didn't trust that I can make my own choice, you know. So I'm very much that person. Like, my cutoff game is pretty strong. I'm generally team no comeback. Like, once you screw me over, you can't come back. And I'm very hardcore with that. And because any other time that I may have thought about doing it, it was like something turned up, and I was like, yeah, see, nope, they ain't evolved. Like, no, they just don't do shit. They just trying to see if I'm better than I was. But I have to say, honesty will always have integrity behind it. And why wouldn't you want that? You know?
Lying is a cheap thrill. It really is. It's a short-lived, cheap thrill. And I understand why people lie, because you really want what you want, and you know if you share certain information, it's not going to go the way you may want it. You think it may not go the way you want it. And I am that person. Like, even if you're brutally honest with me, I'm going to give you my brutal answer. Like, you know what? I can't fuck with that.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to lie. In the back of my head, I'm clinging to you, and you don't even realize it, because I respect you so much for being honest. And like, that honesty can go so far, but in hindsight, it's just like, in that moment, you know, I'm just gonna lie. I'm not fucking with my baby mama like that. Like, no, I don't like her. And you know, he probably messing with her on the side. It's like, give me the opportunity to make a decision.
Yeah.
But people, there are people who are opportunists. Sorry, my meditation
Yeah.
notification. There are people who are out here who are opportunists, who just want what they really want. And they don't it's a selfish thing. And sometimes you don't realize you're being selfish because you just want what you want in a moment. But
Yeah.
that integrity piece, oh, it means a lot. And it's
Yeah.
sometimes you just see it more when you're older.
Yeah.
um
And I
and
don't.
it's unfortunate, you know what I'm saying? But yeah.
Yeah. And I also want to just acknowledge that just some people aren't there yet. Like, if somebody
Yeah.
treated you wrong, it's not necessarily that they intentionally did it. It's just that that's what they're used to operating. And they're used to
Hmm.
operating in that way because of maybe fear of rejection, because of
Yeah.
just, a lot of guys that I have come across, they weren't good or practiced in being vulnerable. And so,
Mm. Ooh, that's
to
deep.
tell Lynn Solar, I can't be with you because, or whatever it is, or I gotta roll out. That means you also have to acknowledge something, right? You have to acknowledge that you offered it, you entered into something that
Yep.
you can't keep up with for whatever
Yeah.
reason is, and
Yeah.
I get that, but I
I
also
respect it.
say this, like, I'm very compassionate and empathetic when it comes to somebody just telling me what's real, and even
Yeah.
if it hurts, I ain't never been like, see, that's blah, blah, blah. And so I think that offends me the most is the
Mm.
fact that while I have done the work, because it ain't easy for me to be vulnerable too, it's just that
It's hard.
I
It's hard.
know the freedom that's on the other side, or I want to avoid any further. I want to prevent any issues that might come about from me not being honest and vulnerable. And so,
Mm.
like, I want to be sure that when somebody's telling me something that's challenging, that I receive it in a way that makes them feel like I listened and I heard you, and also here's my choice.
Girl.
I just wish that we were maybe that there was more openness in being vulnerable, and I think there is now, but we definitely still have a really long way to go in dating. Hold that thought, Carmen. Mike said that's hard, being vulnerable even after being married. Mike, let me know how long you've been married, because I can't even remember no more. It's been so many. um,
That's a superpower.
here's the thing. Vulnerability. I go back to fear. Now, listen, every time I gotta share something vulnerable with somebody, I'm shaking. Okay, and I've had to pray. I've had to meditate.
You make
But
it look
I'll
so
tell you
easy.
this: the same thing I told my homegirl the other day. Fear, like overcoming fear, ain't about waiting until you feel not fearful. It's about doing it in spite of. Like, I'm
Ooh.
afraid to do X, Y, Z. I'm gonna do it anyway. And in the process of doing it anyway, you learn something, right? You learn that it wasn't as hard as I thought it was gonna be. You
Mm-hmm.
learn that there was some other victory on the other side. Like, you
Right.
learned something when you got on the other side, and
Right.
you grew. And it's a transformative process. So when we're faced with vulnerabilities and faced with fears, we can't be we can be resistant to it, but know that the resistance just makes it harder.
You don't realize that because it's so easy to put on a facade. It's so easy to just fake the funk. The thing is, it's so much power in being honest and vulnerable, but it's a mindset. You have to truly be in that place and be okay with being comfortable with being uncomfortable, because you
Yeah.
always want growth, you always want better. And there are times where I'm like shoot, this is what it is. This is where I am, and I'm be honest. But then there are times I'm not always in that space with certain people, and it could be a pride situation.
Yeah.
It could just be just a lack of not really want to be accountable, because then it's like when you're vulnerable, you have to really face that. And
Yeah.
if you're not in a place to face whatever that truth is, if you're not in a place to do that work, but you see it,
Right.
you're gonna feel a certain kind of way. You're gonna feel like you're half-assing the situation a little bit, because you haven't allowed yourself the time to really understand what that truth is and how you feel about that. And you may feel like you're being judged. So you
Right.
gotta not give a fuck about being judged, and really give a fuck about what your honesty is, and live in that. And
It's,
truly honor that. And
yeah.
that's a totally different mindset that
Yeah.
we're not always ready to
Yeah.
build with or live in, though.
But you
for
know, the
real.
thing about judgment is like that judgment is really coming from yourself, though.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
you didn't made up what you think somebody
Yes.
is thinking, because those are things that you typically think about. Now listen,
Mm-hmm.
look, Mark said he been married for 13 years.
All right, 13 years.
But there was something else about vulnerability. I don't think that vulnerability is ever supposed to be easy.
Yeah.
You
We
know,
want it to be, though. We really want it to
we
be easy.
wanted
We
to.
want this shit to be easy.
And while I'm thinking about this, Brene Brown, her Netflix special, she talks about being vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
And that is an amazing special. So if you are watching, like if you have not seen
If you like her.
Brene Brown,
Mm-hmm.
I forgot the name of it. Do you remember, Carmen?
I don't know, but I just know if you just type her name in the search, because I did see it like a few years ago,
Yeah.
and I took a lot of different notes from
Yeah,
it.
so that
Yeah.
Brene Brown Netflix special, when she talks about vulnerability, I'm talking about, I thought I had already knew some things about vulnerability, but listen to her, I had learned so much more, and like so many
Mm-hmm.
like woo moments. So
Yeah.
um yeah, the power of vulnerability. Yeah, so that's an awesome thing to watch. But yeah, vulnerability, that's why it's called vulnerability. I mean, like that's why vulnerability is hard, like it's supposed to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, but
And
yeah,
you don't always have the energy to do that work. That's the thing. Like it's like you could be in the headspace. I know I could be a little moody sometimes. So there's some moments where I got some motivation from somewhere, and I'm like, shoot, I'm just gonna be honest. I'm gonna let you know what it is. Boom, boom, boom,
right.
boom, boom. But then there are moments where it's just like, I don't really want them to know this, because if they know this, and they may think that, and then they may add this to that, and I'm not ready to be exposed like that. I don't, you don't always feel ready to be exposed, but man, the power of that is crazy.
Yeah.
It is crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. And I also want to say that it's okay too when we don't want to be vulnerable all the time. Like, listen,
Hmm.
I don't feel like being Lynn Solar superstar all the time, and so I just choose not to. Like,
Yeah.
I acknowledge, okay, I don't want to do her today. I
Hmm.
don't want to be the
Hmm.
superhero today, and so I choose
Ooh,
that I'm
yes.
not going to be that superhero, and that I'm going to self-care myself, you know?
Yes.
And then I'm going to put my phone on Do Not Disturb. And to be honest, I needed to put my phone on Do Not Disturb today, okay? But yeah, vulnerability. Ooh, how did we get here? We talk about manipulation. How did we?
But but it's such a contrast though, because you manipulate or you gaslight or whatever, because you're totally fake. You're not in a vulnerable place. You're not in a place where you're honest with yourself, with what you want, with where you are in life. You want to look a certain way. And I think like social media or TV and media period has played a tremendous role in that, because it's like, what beauty is, or what's acceptable now is not the same as it was. It's not the same metrics as it was, back in the day and stuff. But if we're, I know we're about to go to a totally different category. I know we are, but
You
I'm just
know
gonna, I'm just gonna put this out there, right? What was considered beautiful and hot then and what it is now, it's totally different. It's a huge contrast as to why people feel like they need to be fake. They get fake boobs. They get, they get the injections. They get
yeah,
certain things. And it's not just women. It's men too. Because you
right.
want to look and be a certain way, because you want to be accepted, because you have not done the self-work that is necessary to be your full, authentic self. I
Ooh,
want to love and fall in love with the authentic person. And I realize I'm a people person. I love people. And I
yeah.
love people because I see their authenticity.
Mm-hmm.
But they may give off something else. But I see the authenticity, and it's like I want that to grow so much, but people don't operate in that. They don't. They'll show certain things, but then they'll give you some bullshit. For
Yeah.
what?
Let me type it in
Yeah.
the comments. Let's see. We have the power of vulnerability. The TED Talk, Brene Brown's TED Talk, and the book is good too. And she has several books that I want to read. I was gonna add one of them to my book club. Shameless plug, everybody. I have a women's discussion group. It is a monthly meetup, and this season we're covering Believing Bigger by Marshawn Evans Daniels, and we're basically diving into purpose and what that means for powerful women. So if you're interested in joining that group, go ahead to lynn-solar.com/
Yes. Come on, plug.
I'll put that in the comments as well. But yeah, I was gonna put a few of her books in that, but they didn't quite make it because I was so overwhelmed about which one to choose. Now,
yeah,
I've seen intimacy grow in ways I didn't see possible through vulnerability.
Ooh, can we talk about that? Thank you, Mark. Woo!
You was talking and he wrote that. I want to be like, and you was gonna be like, what? But yeah, that's a word right there, Mark. And that's amazing intimacy and wonderful and beautiful. And I'm so happy that you have seen that. You know, us human beings, we need intimacy. You know, we need vulnerability. We need love. We need empathy. We need all these feelings that we don't understand. And, you know, a lot of us, bringing this back to this pandemic dating, we have lacked physical connection and human connection and all of that as a result of this pandemic shutdown. So I think it's truly wonderful. Like, I'm gonna be real honest with you all. I've had moments where I just was like, I can't deal with the lack of intimacy right now. But hey, you know, it's part of the journey. But yeah,
it really is.
Something else about intimacy.
And the thing is, like the terms that you've listed, it's relative, and you don't even realize it's relative because like the word intimacy itself is not just sex. You can have an intimate conversation. I'm a conversationalist. I love talking, like I do. And I've had intimate conversations where, you know, if the looks didn't matter, the money, like looks, that always don't matter. But it's just like the fact that we could talk about more than one thing, I feel so connected. And then I know that goes along with like being a sapiosexual, where it's just like, I love, I love dissecting the brain. I love talking about more than one subject or topic. And it's like, that alone is like, I'm hot. Like, I'm ready. Like, touch me. It's a wrap. I'm sorry. I know I'm just being too honest, but that is a real ass thing that people they take for granted. Like, you could be intimate with a person just sitting there. You could watch TV. You could watch something and just have a moment. And sometimes people just feel like, let me, if I do this, I pull this body part out or something, we about to get intimate and we're about to link it on a certain level. It's like, no, like if you connect with me, like if we make that connection, let's live. Like, let's do that. You know what I'm saying? So trust, loyalty, like all those things, what you may consider loyalty and what I consider loyalty, it could be totally different, perspectives on that definition or what that means or what friendship is. So it's like, as we're thinking about those things, like it matters when you're with a person to define what that means. So like if you're on a first date or if you're, talking to somebody, you're interested in somebody, throw out those terms like loyalty. What does that mean to you? How do you define loyalty for you? How do you define friendship? How do you define, royalty? Like, just what is your definition of it? What's your perspective? Because then you see and you don't assume. Because I would assume like what you consider friend and what I consider friend, it could be totally different things. Some people, they just pass the term friendship around because they feel like we had a good conversation, that's my friend. Or they got this going on, that's my friend. It's like, nah, like you got to go through some things for me. I'm not going to give you that title. So I'm sorry. I don't want to go too far off. Because I want to talk about these dating apps. I want to talk about these dating apps. Like,
wait, but I got to tackle two things. First of all,
let's go.
Did you really say if I take this body part out?
I'm trying to be delicate. I'm still a lady. Because I don't want to say tits and ass and dick. You know what I'm saying?
I've been holding that for so long. I was like, I wasn't even thinking that. So I'm glad that I asked that question. I was thinking like, okay, I'm about to date myself right now. One time when I was younger, I was watching I'ma Get You Sucker. And, and you know the scene where old girl take her leg off. They're like,
love me for who I am. One leg, no hair, Fake ass.
So funny. That's what I
She
was
hopped to him, G. She hopped.
Because I was like, did Carmen just say if I take this right
I did. I
I
did.
was like, the or
I did. No. And
okay.
stop laughing in the comments. It ain't that funny.
I'm
I'm
sorry,
just being
y'all.
authentic.
I'm gonna blame it on this Moscato. It's probably just no alcohol content in it, but I'm gonna blame it on the Moscato anyway.
We're blame it on
This
my
Moscato,
specialty.
listen, this peach Moscato that I found at the Target, it is so good. I don't want to promote them or nothing because they ain't sent me no free product, but
Right. We don't care about Sutter House or whoever it is.
I was at Target yesterday, like, wait a minute, I'm gonna grab this. So, but yeah, I typically don't drink Moscato, but this is a pretty nice thing if you want to say, yes, I'm drinking a little wine, today, instead of a little cocktail. So, anyway, internal bond says self-love and acceptance of self. Yeah, we need those things. I think that's the core of it all is that,
Ooh,
it's
that's
showing
what
up a little
pandemic
bit
has taught
more.
us.
It's showing up when people don't have self-love anymore because now we know what to look for. Like, we know that it's kind of like when a child acts out, it's because they're missing something.
Mm-hmm.
They're missing. And so that's kind of what we are. And that's why we need to, like, when we see the red flags and even the yellow flags, sometimes we need to keep it moving.
We'll talk about them yellow flags, girl. Talk about them yellow flags.
Green, yellow, red. So if it's yellow, it's almost about to be red. Yeah, but anyway, they got to do that own work by themselves.
If you have to question it. If you have to question it.
Okay, the second thing I was gonna say, because you said that looks don't matter. And
wait. I didn't say
you did.
I'm more casual. I'm more relaxed in the looks department to a certain degree.
So I'm gonna just say this: it's some of us that are we feel like we might be superficial, and I'm saying we because I literally had this conversation with one of my homegirls in the DMs a couple days ago, and like how we're like, I don't want to be superficial, but X, Y, Z. But like, if you're not attracted to somebody, you're not attracted to somebody.
Oh yeah. Oh.
And so I think that superficial is a term that we've used to place judgment on ourselves for passing a good person. But to be honest, I just feel like, if somebody is good for us, then we wouldn't feel a certain way about it. And yeah, maybe sometimes we need to explore our whys about how we view how someone looks or how we view our own looks. But at the end of the day, if you're not attracted to somebody, like, you can't make yourself be attracted to them. And I'm girl, because part of my dating journey has been allowing people to tell me what's best for me. And that's a part of just my life and my creative journey. And so a lot of times, our friends, our people who mean well, our advisors will say, just give this person a chance. Or, I mean, I think they look XYZ, or they have all these good qualities. Why don't you like them? But a good soror of mine way back when, she was like, you don't have to have a reason why you're not interested in somebody. I don't know if you remember, Carmen, but like back in the day, like high school, whatever, you used to do, try to holler, and you be like, no, I'm not, and they want to know why. Or when you try to break up with somebody, they want to know why. Like, it ain't a why. Like, my shondo is saying this is a no, dog.
It's a wrap.
And you gotta keep it moving, like, and you can't make somebody like you, and you can't make yourself like somebody. Like, if you don't like them, don't make yourself wrong for not liking somebody. And that's been my own personal journey. Is I have made myself feel bad for not liking guys because they were the nice guy that had all the things I wanted. But something in my spirit was saying, don't do it. And I'm going to tell a true story. There was a guy a couple years ago who I just didn't have like a reason why, right? And I tried to make myself have a reason why. And because I didn't have a reason why, I decided to give him a chance. What happened? He ended up, number one, ghosting me. Number two, when he did resurface, he became a little bit of a stalker. And so when I thought about how I was like, ooh, I don't know. I mean, he okay. He wasn't unattractive. I think he was cute, but he wasn't cute. I didn't look at him and think, oh, I think he's just so cute and attractive. And so when I thought about it in hindsight, I was like, my spirit was saying, don't do this.
Yeah. Woo!
Don't do it. Like, you know why, but know that you gotta trust that beat in your heart. You gotta trust that pull that's like,
Ooh.
and whether you
Ooh.
got a why, a reason, or
The
not, like,
intuition.
don't make yourself feel bad for it. Like, we gotta tune in more to our inner voices, our intuition,
Ooh.
our hearts, and know that, like, hey, listen, this person might have everything on paper, but for some reason my spirit is warning me to pump the brakes, and I'm going to
Yeah.
accept what my spirit is telling me until the right time presents itself, if the right time presents itself. So this man, like, every time I would go out, he would be wherever I was at, and I think this was really random, and I don't think that he was intentionally doing it, but it was for some reason we were connected in a way that he was already always where I was at. Even when I tried to go to different places, like, change up my environment, he would be there. So that was just really weird. Now, Corey said people waste a lot of time trying to fit a square into a
Boy,
but bam,
you better preach.
Listen, that's a word, because you don't always understand what that means to fit a square into a circle until somebody shows you. And that was another experience I had. The guy I mentioned in my album. Hey, follow me on Spotify. Another shameless plug. But yeah, he used to always tell me, you can't fit a square into a circle, whatever. And I was just like, well, whatever he's talking about, right? But and then after shit went down, I understood. That he was telling me what he was gonna do or who he was.
Ooh.
I didn't have the discernment
Lynn.
and the experience to understand. Now I understand. Okay,
girl.
Okay.
The thing. Just real quick. The thing is, don't. What happens is sometimes we put an age on where we feel like we should get it. You know what I mean? You be like, oh, you're 20 something, you're 30 something, you grown as hell. You should know by now. You should know better. And sometimes, our past experiences have held us. Like, I had an actual stalker where I had to get a restraining order on. And it was the same situations where it's just like, I knew for a fact I did not need to deal with this person, but my insecurities, or I feel like there's a shortage of people or whatever, or I just tolerated some stuff just because my gut told me everything I needed to know. But I'm not listening to my gut because I want companionship. Like, I'm in a place where I want certain things, and this person is here. So it's like, I should cater to that. And it's like, the thing is, when you hear yourself tell the story out loud, you realize how wild that situation was, or how you really should not have taken, you really should not have been in that situation as long as you should have. And it's like, damn, and then people be like, you grown, you should have seen this, you should have known that. It's like, you can't put an age limit on that. Like, people's common sense is, is on different levels and everything like that. But really, if you really feel something and there's a gut intuition, because like, even I date good guys. Like, the guys I dated, they're really good. And sometimes I stay in that, even though I may feel how I feel, I may not like them as much as they like me. And I'm like turned off, I'm repulsed by a lot of things they do. But because they're good and because they're a certain way, it's like, well, I can't let this go, because it's not that many good guys out here. And then you hear good guys say, good guys always finish last, blah, 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 blah. But it's like, no, like, I just really don't like you. And I should be okay with that. And I should be okay with just departing. But I'm a people pleaser, so I want everybody to feel great. And even if we depart, it's like, I still let's kind of be friends, or like, let's have some sort of contact. And that's wrong, because when guys do it to me, I'm pissed off. Like, what friend? If you don't see me how I want you to see me, that's it.
Carmen Jones, I'm going to I'm putting a demand on you right now. Look at your laundry. I'm gonna put a call on you right now. I want you to release people pleasing, because the more you say I am a people pleaser, the more you claim it. And I'm not.
Oh, you're right.
You, okay? And I don't mean to check you on this Instagram live, but I don't
check me
to live in the people pleasing life no more, because I'm a reformed people pleaser. Okay.
Come on.
So so for you, I'm claiming that you have now, from this moment forward, released people pleasing from your life. Amen. Everybody on the
Amen. Ashe. Ashe.
And the same goes for anybody out there. Watch our word curses. Watch the way that we're speaking about ourselves and how we operate, because the more that we are saying that I'm inserting in free of charge. Okay. Carmen.
I'm
Okay,
here.
I know you got something else to say, but I know that our main thing is that we want to talk about these dating apps and digital dating. And so first, before we move on, I want to check to make sure that you're okay with how we're doing on time, because we normally wrap up around this time.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm good.
You good with the time of what's staying on a little bit longer than usual?
Yeah. Is everybody else good with that? Because I don't want to hold y'all if y'all got something to do. People got to
They
cook
gonna be
dinner.
good. They gonna tune in and out as they would like to. And then if they leave, they should ask some other friends to join in and replace them. All right. All right. So, y'all, we about to talk about dating apps and digital dating, and why I'm making the separation with the distinction between digital dating and dating apps. Okay. We're shifting into the dating now. Okay. Now, some questions that we had proposed in the polls were, how do you feel about using using apps and social media to find your mate? The other thing that we talked about was, do you prefer using dating apps now as opposed to not using them way back then? We discussed what the benefits were of dating apps. Carmen, I know you want to talk about like how soon should we meet somebody in person after meeting on the dating apps. So yeah, Carmen, I'm gonna let you lead this part.
All right, be careful. Okay.
No, I'm scared.
Okay. So this is the thing. I could be, there are times where I feel like tradition is very necessary. So, meeting somebody, it physically, wherever, I'm not going to say bar, church, or Home Depot, but wherever you meet somebody, that's real. So dating apps and stuff like that, it's like, that's foreign to me. But my supervisor at a job 3-4 jobs ago, my supervisor, she had set up my Tinder account. She went through my phone, she found some pictures, she set up my profile and everything, and she even swiped for me. She was like, nope, he's not good. Nope, he's good. I like him, blah, blah, blah. And so eventually I ended up, meeting somebody or whatever the case is. And then people kept saying like, oh, it's just like a game. Just swipe for whoever you want and everything like that. And it's like, this is new to me. I kind of don't like it. I don't trust it. I don't know this person. They could be a killer. They could be all these different things. I don't know what I'm getting myself into. But yes, as I'm looking at profiles and everything, I'm like, okay, I see what's happening. So, I ended up hooking up with somebody, and it was a relationship, I guess you can call it that. Okay. For a few months and everything. But then, I do a podcast too. So we talked about dating apps. So they talk about, well, if Tinder wasn't good, then try Bumble and try all these other apps. And so my thing, that face. So Bumble, the thing was, I didn't like the setup of Bumble because even though you match with somebody, the woman has to initiate. And I'm used to being pursued. Like, that is a very big norm for me, of being pursued. And my friends are like, Carmen, it's 2020, 2021 is whatever the year is. Women are doing it. And I'm in New York. So they right. And I'm in New York, and I'm around a different culture of women, where women are a little bit more aggressive. Chivalry is not really a big thing here. So it's like adjusting to that and knowing that this is what I'm up against. How do I compete or whatever the case is? It feels like a competition, but it's like, nah, I'm not really big on approaching dudes. Like, yeah, right. I'm old school. I am.
My mic just went off.
But then at the same time, like after the relationship that I had off of Tinder, after that ended, I got right back on. And then I was just like, okay, I'm open to other stuff. So I'll do the BLK. My friend told me about Coffee Meets Bagel. I'm on that. I did Tinder a little bit. And then even Facebook had a dating thing. And let me tell y'all, the litter of men that have been on them apps, it ain't what's happening. Like, it's not. But I did understand the convenience of it, especially being where, I'm in New York. So it's a lot of people doing a lot of things, and people are busy. We're always working and everything. Yeah. So it's like, it's easy to do. And, and then we would meet up. It's like, you're in a place where, I'm in Harlem. So we got like a lot of hot spots where you can meet people and everything like that too. And it's just a norm to be on dating apps. Now, social media, I have a friend, one of my close friends. She was on LinkedIn and sliding into guys' DM. And I was like, yo, that's kind of smart. I never thought to go on LinkedIn and slide in a DM. She wasn't as successful. Like, she got a little traction. But it's like, that's kind of clever. But like, I'm not big. I'm learning to be okay with, if I'm really into somebody, say something. But it's hard. But like all this dating stuff, this rigmarole, as my father says, this rigmarole, it's a lot to process at one time. But it's like, it's also an idea of evolving and growing. Yeah, I'm old school. Yeah, I believe in traditions. And that is very important to a certain degree because it keeps you grounded and it keeps your morals and your virtues, intact, if certain things happen or don't happen. But you do have to, you gotta change. You gotta evolve with what's happening now too. It doesn't mean that you have to conform to everything that's happening, but you have to be aware of what's the latest of what certain trends are, because the world is moving. Like my godmama, she's like, I'm not big on email and stuff. You mail me a picture and mail me this. And I'm like, girl, come on. Like, come on. But that's what happens. Like, you just gotta grow and everything. So yeah. Saban, I'm on the same thing too, girl.
Oh, honey, you just gave me a whole bunch of stuff to say.
I did. I know.
Let me tell the audience right quick. Let's see. Mari said old school. He was calling Carmen out for being old school, talking about pursuing, and we're gonna get back to that in a second, because that is one of the things on my mind. Let's see. We also had. I did something strange. Not for that change, but I did something strange. Okay. I'm just silly. Let's see. Mark said that's how I was raised too. Exactly. Like that's how we were raised, And it's like and it's probably the same for anybody, is that we were born in a certain era, we grow up in a certain era, we live in a certain area, we become into our own selves in a certain area. So it's like it's always these learning curves and adjustments and things to navigate through. And like you said, Carmen, like I don't believe that we should let go, like totally let go of some things. Some things have kept us grounded, but there are some things that we should let go of and evolve. And let's see, Sky Diva says, I'm learning to slide into the DMs. Okay, this is what I want to say about this LinkedIn DM situation. Carmen is laughing because I texted her the other day because this guy had jumped into my DMs, right? Now, I want y'all to really know that at the very core of my being, the very first person I learned how to be was a professional, right? And so when I think of LinkedIn and somebody dropping in my DMs, I'm like, you ain't supposed to do that.
Right.
Like, you got to be professional. And so
professionally approaching you.
He called me Your Highness. And I was like, what? And what's funny about that is that I don't necessarily like being called queen. Like I really love to be, I like terms of endearment, but queen, I just never felt connected to it when it's like, what's up, queen? I am a queen. Yes, I believe that, but it's just weird to be, that be the title that people address me by. And so it took me a little bit to get it, but he was like, you're welcome, Your Highness. And I was like, Your Highness?
Was he trying to be funny?
No. Oh. No, because he dropped the scripture too. And so I just thought that what an interesting forum to, like, I'm all about being your whole self and whatever, but I just thought what an interesting forum to say what he said in this DM. And I think that as we are considering what it looks like to jump in people's DMs, I think we need to consider yes, shoot your shot, but also use some discernment and use a little bit of I don't know how to say it, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, learn how to say something depending on where the forum is. Because if I'm on LinkedIn, I'm literally congratulating people for getting a new job, and I'm literally networking to see who wants to be on Tea Time with Lynn. Or I'm looking for my next project and my tax. Thank you, Maseho. Oh, that was, see, that's my friend. Tax
I didn't even think
However,
about that. Yeah.
there is a certain level of tact that one must use in certain forums and platforms, and I think
Yeah.
that LinkedIn is one of them. And so, when I'm on LinkedIn, my mindset, and as well as everybody else, is creating opportunities, forging collaborations, updating our resumes so that we look more marketable for the next opportunity.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
definitely not like your highness and queen and read the scripture. Like, go ahead and go to Instagram and put it there. Like, I might be a little bit more open to,
Right. Yeah. Your mindset is,
no,
yeah, in some
right, because
places.
also when I'm on Instagram, it's like, okay, well, let me just chill and hang out on Instagram for a minute and see, what's happening. That's a whole different mental state, and we want to get people when they're their best mental state. But so anyway, I just thought that was hilarious, and so I am.
It's smart. I think it's clever. Because you would never think to do that. But I'm the same way, where if I see you with a certain title, a certain way, like, that's what it is. But she like, shoot, I see your resume. I see what you're doing. You're active. And I see your
Yeah.
picture.
And so
What's up?
Lynn Solar was like, this is a yellow flag. This is a yellow.
On the low, because it can seem like you're trolling. It can seem like you're trolling or opportunist to a certain degree. You can.
Or a little bit just scary. I'm a woman. Like, my work history is on this forum, and it's a little creepy.
I respect that.
To me. But
I respect that.
so and young man, if you're watching right now, hey,
Young man. Young man.
Auntie Lynn came out like young man.
Oh,
But no,
Lord.
this is not meant to make fun or anybody, but just to kind of, as we're talking about these things, let's workshop. Let's workshop some ways to bridge some gaps and get people in healthy relationships. Okay.
Yes.
So Carmen, it's something else that you said. Oh, okay. But so Scotty was saying, I'm learning to slide into the DM, right? So let me tell y'all. I have slid in DMs. Okay, I'm telling you that.
I'm scared.
And no, don't be scared. It's an interesting thing to do, because, like Carmen, I do enjoy a man showing interest in me, and I have equal issue with Bumble. And Bumble, I have a little bit more of an intricate position with Bumble, so remind me to come right on back to that. But shooting your shot in the DMs, you gotta have thick skin. You gotta be okay that this person gonna leave you at scene.
Or be like, okay.
Say a motherfucking thing after that. Like,
yeah. Yeah.
And, that hurts. That has happened to me. And I was in my feelings, but then I kept it moving, because you know what I said? Hey, maybe they looked at my profile and was like, oh, she bad. Like, I can't. You know what
they can't handle all of you, girl. Girl.
So I had to flip the script, and I believe that, though. But it was a point in time in my life where I was just like, oh, they don't like me. Blah, blah. I'm not picking up from that, blah, blah. But, to be honest, like, again, that we got to give people the space to choose what they want, if they want to respond or not. And while I think it's like, goes back to my thought about not managing relationships properly, I think you should be like, oh, man, I'm not really interested in you that way, but thank you so much. Like, can you, like, professionalize this thing? Like,
I can't talk like that.
I'm very much that person where, like, I like to wrap up a thing, partly because I'm not gonna let you be unclear on where I stand. And so I just wish that more people would give me that opportunity to have clarity. And no, they don't owe me shit, but at the end of the day, it just seems like a better use of managing people, or just managing your healthy communicative space to say, no, thank you, but thank you so much for reaching out. Or whatever.
You know what it is, though? It's like, you think about closed mouths don't get fed. Like, that's the thing. If you're interested in somebody, you do that. If I am old school, if I'm used to guys approaching, women and stuff like that, it's like that's a norm. But like even Corey said, you gotta have thick skin. It's like if you see something, I mean, the fear is the rejection.
Right.
And to a certain degree, I'm used to rejection. Being an artist, I'm used to like, okay, I'm not for the part, or I am for the part. You just never know what that is or what that is going to look like.
Right.
But you have no idea until you actually put yourself out there. You can assume this and assume that,
Right.
and you had no idea they were peeping you the whole time, and they were just waiting on you or waiting on that open door, that opportunity. So it's like, whoever, whatever it is, like, of course, you definitely want to have thick skin, but it's like sometimes if you want it, like, if there's something in you that says you want it, like, just go for it and see what happens.
Now,
you never know.
It also reminds me of this meme that says, what if it does go the way that you want? Like, a lot of times we don't do something we think is going to go in the opposite direction, but we got to start saying, this thing gonna go the way that I intended it to go. And then we also need to maybe manage our emotions a little bit better. Like, thank God that person didn't say shit back to me, because maybe they hear some type of domestic that I don't
They crazy. They crazy.
Just don't know. And so
you don't know what you're missing out on.
Yeah,
Thank God for deliverance.
So let's see. Sky Diva said, I tell myself, Michelle went after Barack. I can see, I'm like,
women have an intuition.
Like my thoughts, but on that, but yeah, I remember hearing how Michelle and Barack Obama's their story, and it's just like, what do you do when you're a woman who is like highly successful and highly professional? Like, at some point, you do have to let the man know, I'm interested in you. But and then going back to the pursuing thing, Carmen, like, I think for me that pursuing is like, I want to let the guy know that, hey, I'm interested in you, and then I want to see if they initiate something. And I think it goes down to preference. Like, for me, my preference is that I'm with a mate who is very initiative on some things. It's not saying that I won't ever initiate, but this goes back to my Bumble point. Yes. But my issue with me initiating is that I am very much a goal-oriented person. And what I found in my earlier experiences in dating was that, not that it could be too much, but sometimes your strong suit in your professional life doesn't necessarily translate well in your personal, in your romantic life, and in your friendships.
Yep.
And so you have to learn how to navigate how you are. You can still initiate, but maybe it's just a little softer way that you initiate. The other thing that I was finding is that I need to know that my partner or that my mate or whoever I'm dealing with is actually going to operate in a way that's a partner. And the only way that I could really see that is for me to see them initiate something. And there's been times where I felt like, I took over this date. I took over the planning. I took over blah, blah, blah. And then I didn't get to see who this person really was and operating with me because they didn't take the initiative or I didn't allow them to do so. So that's how I feel about Bumble. Like, I feel like because I'm like taking initiative on Bumble and I'm dropping in the DMs, it's more so of me not feeling great about starting this potential relationship off with me making the initiative, making the move, because it feels very much like the guy, I made this conclusion early on. It just felt like guys were keep expecting me to initiate in the conversation. And so if I'm finding myself doing 3 or 4 conversation starters and the other person doesn't ever engage in a way that completes or makes a complete conversation, I'm out. Because you showing me right there who you gonna be. And so Bumble just makes me feel I just don't like how I feel when I'm on Bumble. No shade to Bumble, it works for some people. I've seen their success story on their social media. But Carmen, hold your thought. Of course, that you can prepare yourself by knowing you ain't for everybody and everybody ain't for you. That's a word. Look at this. I'm so glad my male friends joined in. Y'all got the words up in here. But yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's about managing our emotional expectations. Yeah, knowing that we just not gonna be for everybody, and that's okay, and it
That's
doesn't mean
peace.
anything about yourself. But yeah, that's what I want to say about Bumble and initiating and the pursuing piece. Mark, if you still on here, I came across a post that talked about when we refer to women being pursued, we're low key saying that they're prey. And so, something I never thought about, pursuing prey, predators prey. And I'm just wondering, like, Carmen, how did you feel about that when I sent that to you? How do you
Yeah,
all
when
feel
I
about that?
saw that, I was like, oh wow. I never looked at it like that. You know what I mean? But it's this is the thing, to kind of go back a little bit. I think the makeup of how Bumble is because there are people who are like, women have intuition. Like women are wise, or women are more mature than men. So they know that, like, they did some sort of observation where it's like, okay, I see all of this and now I'm going to pursue because there's something there. It's not a surface thing. It's not just, oh, he finding this. It's like there's something that I could really, build with to a certain degree. I see the potential and I want to know more. Like, women pay attention to details of certain things and everything. So, I think that's part of the reason why, a lot of people are more acceptable of women, taking that approach of, approaching women approaching, I
Yeah,
mean, or being the aggressive, person in that. I shouldn't even say aggressive, but
like,
the whole predator prey thing,
yeah,
I never saw myself as that. I never looked at it like that.
yeah.
But when you think about it, men are hunters, men pursue, men go after, like, that's just a natural
But
nature.
do they though? Do they? Or is that what society told them they were supposed to do? Because it's a lot of men that do not hunt and do not do those things.
But that comes from a lot of different things. So the idea or the mindset of that was because there was a certain structure within the household, or there was a certain mindset that was happening. Right now, we're in a different place that whatever was once upon a time is not.
Right.
And there are characteristics that, that would say that women are being more masculine and there are men who are being more, tapping into
Yeah.
the femininity. And there's nothing wrong with that, because we do have those chromosomes, within us. But there's a lack of fathers in the household and teaching men how to be men, or how to court, or do certain things. Like,
Right.
however you choose to be is fine. Like, whatever
Right.
your lifestyle is, that's totally fine. But there is a difference.
Yeah.
Like, there is a lack of there's a lack of parents in the household. There's a lack of teaching. There's a
Yeah.
lack of passing something on to the next. So it's like, when you think about the shift in things, it's like things are not what was used to be normal. It's not normal anymore. And we're creating, the world or society is creating its own definition of what certain things should be. And I think those certain things should just be considered. Like, the idea, I mean, I get there are a lot of men that are not approaching women, and it's for a lot of different reasons. And
Right.
like, being here in New York, like, women are aggressive. Like, they just are. They don't give a fuck. It is what it is. I'm gonna go after what I want, and I'm gonna tell
Right.
you what the F it is. Like, that's just how they are. Now, Midwest, a little farther down south or whatever, the makeup is a little bit different, but there's some similarities though. But there's a shift in that, just because of, whatever's happening. Like, I'm in a place where everybody, there's a work, there's a hustle. Everybody work, no matter what it is, how much money you making, you're hustling. So everybody is working. Nobody is at home, cooking and everything. Uber Eats, Grubhub, DoorDash, like, that is a big thing. Women are not at home cooking all the time. There's some who are, I am, but there's a lot who are not doing that. And it's like, that plays a part into the upbringing, to the mindset of, to what people are being grown, birthed into, or grooming, or nurtured into. So, whatever is innate in a man, I feel like men are hunters. I feel like men do go after, what they want and stuff like that. And I just feel like society has shifted the mindset, too. So yeah.
Okay, so guys, chime in because I want to know. Like,
Please.
I don't know that I necessarily believe that it has to be that one gender is naturally this or one is naturally that. I'm not really sure. Like, I do know that yes, women are nurturing. We carry babies, like, you know, we're naturally nurturing. But I also don't have enough background and research to know, like, is the hunter thing a social construct, or is the social thing what's natural to the gender? And I never even thought to ask guys about this hunter thing. I just know that you know, it's some guys that are shy. Like, are they gonna get what they want? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Or does that mean that women aren't hunters? Because I don't believe that as well. Like, you and I are very powerful women, and whatever I want, I get it. You know, so like, is that so? In that respect, I'm a hunter too. You know. Let's see. Our R&B said it's tiring to keep starting over, going through the motions. After being married twice, I'm tired of getting to know folks and read between the lines, etc. At least right now. Yes, R&B.
Be real.
Mark got some in here. R&B also said, I agree. That men tend to be natural hunters, but so are some women. Oh, look, yep, it's complicated. Yep, I think it's social and natural instincts. Yeah. I think that's a good way to think about it.
Yeah.
I want to say something about back to the dating apps and going through the motions. Yeah, right. Like, you got to do it like swipe. Hey, how are you? Hey,
that's all you see on a train, people.
Hey. And then you're like, okay, do they like me or whatever? And so that is really exhausting. And I've literally have had like built-in breaks. Like, okay, Lynn, it's been 3 weeks. I'm gonna take a break. And a lot of my breaks are like indefinite breaks. It's the best way I can put it is it's a mind fuck. And the other thing I can say is I am not necessarily sold on the dating app thing. I got on dating apps personally because, not necessarily because it was a pandemic. I got on dating apps because I haven't been in a relationship in a while. And I do have people that have had success stories with the dating apps, and I never gave it a full try. I never gave it a try until last year. So I decided, okay, Lynn, like, you can't knock it till you try it. Like, let me try this thing, because who knows? Like, what I'm looking for could be on these apps. But I've more so hated the experience. And I wonder why I torture myself sometimes. And don't get me wrong, I have met some good guys. I have gone on good dates. But at the end of the day, the situation didn't turn out to be either what I hoped it to be or what I was looking for. And so it is hard to continue to put yourself out there.
It's draining.
It's draining, and a lot of your traumas get popped up too, right? Your traumas and your triggers. And so I've also been like dealing and talking and discussing about traumas and triggers with my therapist, which is a good help. Look, I recommend, if you're going to date apps, make sure you got a therapist.
Damn, okay. Makes sense.
Right. It's like they say, when you're in a relationship, it's gonna pull out your triggers. The same thing for dating. Like, it's gonna pull out your triggers as you're meeting these different people. Carmen, before you say something,
I ain't got nothing to say.
Oh, fine. Shout out to all those that are engaging with us. Welcome to Tea Time with Lynn. This happens every Tuesday, and I highlight my creative friends, and we talk about self-care, love, our creative journey, and our purpose. And every second Tuesday, I always forget what day it is. Every second Tuesday, my homegirl Carmen joins us, and we get to talk about all different types of things. So R&B said, it's too hard to trust. I still prefer to meet in person. Part of that comes from my age, and the other part is it's hard to read a person through a typed conversation. Yes,
girl.
Yes. Lynn Sola does not like these whole texting things. I never like text. Like, you're not gonna text me to get to know me. Okay?
Well, I got a question after you done.
Go.
No, after you done, because you're reading the comments. There's a lot of comments. Look what Corey said.
Okay, go ahead. Carmen's just trying to drink some wine while I talk.
That's not true.
Corey said, I hunt like a shark. Okay. I don't really make a move until I smell blood.
I want to say something about that, but I'm gonna wait.
Out. was myself. I was not there.
I love it.
But
Oh,
that,
I love an aggressive man sometimes. Okay, sorry. Go
he
ahead.
said until I smell blood. But that didn't come until I was much older. I was shy my whole life and still have the shy feelings deep down. And so the smell blood to me, when I think about that, I think of like a young lady letting you know with a wink or like a hey, how you doing? That they interested
He
in
like,
you. Go like dun, 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 dun.
oh, okay. So this is what I was thinking. This is what I'm curious about. So if you choose to be, so two things. Okay, first was I told this guy that I was being absent and practicing abstinence. And that's me trying to be transparent, parent, and vulnerable.
Yes.
Transparent. Did you know they tease me? They think I'm from down south up here. But anyway, transparent. But my friend told me, like, when you tell a guy that you're being abstinent, that's like blood and water. Like a shark is going to fucking attack you if you tell them that you're being absent. I'm thinking, I'm saying like, hey, I ain't doing that. Don't try me. You could just find somebody else. And it's like, nah, I'm about to get on that. Like, I'm about to break it. Some guys are like that. Some guys are like that. My question was, shut up, Corey. My question, she was like, oh, for real? My question is, if you do slide in someone's DM or if you do meet somebody on a dating app, how long do you use the app or do you talk on the phone and text before you meet with somebody? Because I'm slow, not slow as in I take my time into meeting somebody because I'm always afraid that, they're crazy or something. And so I just try to, I try to be safe. But then at the same time, it's just like, you're not going to really get to know anybody for real until you're in front of them in person. I've been catfished once, but, that's a whole nother story. A long time ago, like, it's not even a relevant story anymore. And just be careful. But in video chatting is a thing now, too. But yeah, how long do you wait until you meet with somebody? How long is an appropriate time to, yeah.
Okay, and I also want you all in the chat to chime in on that too. I done dropped my phone and everything.
Okay. Say something.
Okay. For me, because I am a personable person, the way that I get to know people is by seeing them with my natural eyeballs, not with their old 1980 photo that they done tried to put to kind of catfish me.
Is that video chatting or being in person?
I'm saying, like, when they put a photo up and they know they don't look like that.
Oh yeah, that's how I got catfish. Save yourself.
Catfish, but no, because I need to see somebody in person. I'm also very much an energy person, and something I like to see how people communicate, because as you all can tell, I have this conversation series because I have conversations. A lot of things can get hidden in text, and not only that, in text, a lot of things can be made up, a lot of bad stories, a lot of untrue stories, a lot of assumptions. And I'm not the one to put extra assumptions and bad energy into the space, because I'm an overthinker. And like, let me say this, like, I'm an overthinker and I'm really, really smart. So my overthinking level is like through the roof. And so for me, I'm naturally a screener. So yeah, we're gonna chat. I'm gonna see how are they how are they communicating with me through text. Now I think it's really attractive when somebody can hold a whole conversation with you and keep you engaged through text. I'm like, oh snap.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, right, like, oh snap, when we get in person, we just gonna vibe and
right,
whatever, tea time with Lynn and all that. But if you one word answer me, or if you are just like one sentence, if you're not in depth in the convo on the text, chances are you probably not gonna do that in person. Or you might, because excuse me. On the other hand, because I don't like text messages, I don't engage much in conversation on text. But I'm very clear and I say, hey, listen, I like to see how people act and how people, engage or whatever. But then after a couple of days or so, I'm like, hey, listen, I'm not really a texter. I really enjoy live conversations. If you would like to, you can call me at this time. And so that's the way that I manage it, right?
Yeah.
I tell them what I need and what I want, and I give them an opportunity and a specific time with frame when you can communicate with me, and let's have a good conversation. And I'm flexible on the time that I'm available, right? And so then you get on this conversation, you're like, okay, I can be on the phone with this person. I'm attracted to their voice. I feel their energy. They're cool, you know? And you can also tell somebody's intentionality, right? In text, if a guy initiates and says, hey, can I call you? Hell yeah! Like,
you better. You
I don't care
better.
if I'm not attracted all the way. If the man says, can I call you, and takes initiative like that, I'm like, absolutely. Yes, king. You can
Just
call
don't what you do me to death.
you
Please
can
don't
call
what
me
you
at
do me
6
to death.
p.m. Between 6 and 8. Yes, do that. So I check for certain things. And then after I check for those things and they make it past the conversation, the intentionality, the energy on a phone conversation, then I'm comfortable to see this person in person. I want to see this person in person.
Yes.
And the thing about it is, you don't want to hold me on no text conversation past a week, because past a week, Lynn is moving on to the next.
Yeah. Absolutely. And you got, and I mean, that's just a boundary. Cause my thing is, I used to give people the benefit of the doubt. And it's like, all that has done is just crippled me. So, it's crippled me so much. Even with thank you for saying that. Cause like, I had this guy, he always, what you doing? What you doing? What you doing? And it's like, okay, I'm telling you what I'm doing. So what are you going to do with this information? And they do absolutely nothing. And it's like, oh my God, but you're so attractive and you're this, but you're whack. And it's a headache. But then at the end of the day, I got a lot of energy and I got a lot of stuff that I need to do or create and everything. I ain't got time for the bullshit. I'm grown as fuck. You know what I'm saying? I don't have time for someone who's on this level, no matter what their potential is. If you're giving me mediocre or below standard, I don't care how fine you are. I don't care what your resume is. I don't care the potential you have. You're not living up to it. You're not. And so I have my limit and my barrier now. So it is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I mean, I think about it like pitch. Like, you got a certain window to engage somebody and to make someone interested, or to have somebody be interested, right? We all have that time frame. And when it's something that I want, you damn straight that I'm gonna be like, what up, my name Lynn Solar. You can find me at the such and such. Oh, hey, I just want you to know XYZ. And no, this ain't how I be in the DMs. Maybe it is, maybe it ain't. But
if you're lucky,
be your authentic, interesting, like Mar said, intellectually.
Ooh.
Oh, come on.
Sapiosexuals. Yes.
Poetry lyrics. Love Jones. But let me roll up. We got a lot of comments. Hold on. Okay. So Mark and He Wave, right? He Wave is Carmen.
That's me.
Dolphins come through with the smarts. Yes, dating an intellectual person. A whole nother ball game. I always needed face-to-face voice communication. Yep. R&B Hills, yeah. Mark, what it do? R&B said, and don't good morning and good night me to death. And we're gonna add the WYDs in there. Yeah, I hate that also. Let's see. And so R&B says, and then it feels like they don't have communication skills, which is an issue for a lot of different reasons. Absolutely.
Yes.
Like,
I'm glad you said that.
We're trying to find not trying to, as everybody has different goals, but in the realm of like looking for your partner or your life partner or your sometime partner, like, wouldn't you want to be engaging with that person? Like, wouldn't you want to be interested? Like, wouldn't you want to be able to spend time with someone without needing the distraction of a TV or a music or a party or something? Like, come on, like, it's the best thing ever. Goes back to that like, oh my God, like, that's like, if y'all want the cheat code to the game, be intimate and vulnerable and honest.
Girl, that's heavy for people. That is so heavy. Like, it is necessary and it's real, but it's like, damn, I really got to do work on myself. Like I really got, and that's the thing, like for me, so the reason why I don't always put myself in the dating pool sometimes, because I don't feel like I'm ready all the time. But you know, like I said, my supervisor, she was just like, I'm gonna put you on Tinder, blah blah blah. But it's like I feel like I got so many things that I need to prepare or get together. Like when I first moved here, I was like, I'm just trying to eat. So I'm not looking for nobody. I'm trying to find work. I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to do that. And as I'm doing this, I met a few guys. And so this one guy, he was just like, well, how do you, he was like, you know, I'm trying to date and everything. I was like, well, that's not really my priority right now. He was like, well, how do you know if you will come across the right person for you? You know, if you're rejecting people and stuff. I was like, but my mindset is not there. But what he's saying is, like, you don't, we have our own level of what we feel like we should be and what we feel like is ready for companionship. Like we want to make sure that we're making a certain amount of money. Some people make a certain amount of money. You got this going on, you got that going on, blah, blah, blah. Boom, I'm ready. And it's like, that's not always the case with people. It's like, there are people who admire the fuck out of you with all your issues and problems and whatever. People who are just like, oh my God, this person is amazing. Regardless of how they look, what they're going through, what their shortcomings are, this person is amazing and I want to see them happy and stuff like that. And it's like, it's hard to see yourself how other people see you sometimes because you're so stuck in whatever you're going through. And it's hard to, you know, to have that positive affirmation or to be like, you know what, I am a dateable person and, you know, I can't, this person may help me work through certain things. And I'm not putting that on anyone either because we all got to do our self-work. Right. But at the same time, you know, there's a reason there's a soulmate out here for us. There is somebody out here who can accommodate that, who understands that, who can support you or whatever. Not saying that you're looking for it, but there is somebody for you who gets it. And you're not always going to be this ready-made person, and you gotta fully be honest. You gotta be okay with that. You gotta be okay with being imperfect and to have a perfect situation with somebody. And sometimes we just, you know, I know I get self-conscious. I know that I question myself and I doubt myself sometimes like that. But it's like, you know what? There's somebody who thinks totally opposite and they're ready for you. So it's like, accept the good that you have. Find the gratitude in what you have. Even think about the relationships that you've had in the past, or you know, people who do admire you. There's some greatness in you that deserves love. And allow yourself to be open to that, even as you're doing the work. Because sometimes doing that work is what attracts the right people to you. Sometimes too. I don't know why I went there, but that's what it is, girl.
I love that. You have some really good gems in there. I also want to play devil's advocate. Now, I think that there are seasons where we do need to focus on work. Like, fuck that relationship. We ready.
Yeah, I get distracted.
Only we can know when we're ready to be in a relationship. So, I mean, Carmen, when you first got to New York, hell yeah, you needed to work, girl.
Gotta eat. I'm back here by myself, G.
You have to find your groove before you allow other people in your space. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You have to allow that time for you to choose, are you ready? Not for somebody else to be like, oh, well, you know, because really he was just trying to, like, get what he was.
He was trying to get in, but it did open my mind up, though. It's like, oh, okay, I was like tunnel vision. When I'm focused, that's it.
Yeah. And so I think that's why I say you have some really good gems, but I also wanted to make, y'all, I'm laughing because my troublemaker friend got to hear
whatever, Eric.
A troublemaker. And I just want y'all to know that Lynn Solar is not a troublemaker.
I am. And he is too. He knows.
Coming up in here kicking up dust or whatever in the troublemaker department. But y'all, let me tell y'all something. You know, y'all about to see parts of my house that I don't really want y'all to see, but somebody's ringing my doorbell. This one of them days where you know you got some stuff going on and somebody else is trying to get your attention. Hold on a second, don't laugh.
Y'all should jump in the chat though. Wait a minute. And don't do that. Don't do that, and okay, don't do that.
Made me forget my thought. So what we were saying was, first of all, shout out to all those people on the Tea Time with Lynn. Thanks, Lo. Got a little package, you know. But what was I saying, y'all? Forgive me. This doesn't normally happen on the Tea Time.
You were playing devil's advocate as far as. Oh, you remember?
Nope, I was listening to you.
Okay, you were playing devil's advocate and understanding that sometimes you do need that work for yourself,
Yes,
regardless if someone is interested in you. So it is important to be aware of
yes,
what is necessary
yes.
for
And
you
I
in the
blame
place
you
of
for
truth.
messing up my what I was thinking
It
about.
is it's a spirit. That's a spirit.
That spirit, a troublemaking spirit. But I also wanted to mention. Oh, this I got a short story. When I was much younger, I was just starting my creative career, and at
Okay.
that time, I was like, I want to be a singer, an actress, a dancer, a model, right? Like these are things that were in my toolbox. And with that, I'm a big believer that when you are embarking on something new, that you take the classwork, you do the coursework, you do whatever the work is to become the best version to do and achieve whatever it is you're trying to achieve. I met this older guy who I really wasn't trying to talk to, but I was just like, yeah, sure. Like I was in that stage where like if anybody was like taking initiative, I'd be like, okay, knowing damn well
Hmm.
I wasn't really interested. And so, but one day he wanted to cook for me. And this was like we hadn't dated or gone or out or anything, but this was like maybe our first or second phone call. And so he told me you have to slow down so you could be caught. Now, listen, as an impressionable woman, young woman, I'm thinking, oh damn, like I have to slow down. You know, I'm too busy. I don't have room in my calendar for it. Like
Oh, I got that.
he made me feel bad for
I
that.
got that.
But I don't believe that you got to slow down for anybody that's meant to be in your space. And I know that he was just telling me that to get what he want, or maybe he actually believed that I had to slow down to be caught. But
For him.
for him, and so I'm just so glad that I was like, like my Shonda was like, nope. Like first of all, because I didn't think he was that attractive and that I really wasn't that. He was out of his realm to
The
say
fuck?
that, you know, like make sure that I actually like you before you say some shit like that.
Keep your advice to yourself, bro.
Yes, keep that to yourself. But so I just I think and this segues into what I wanted to talk about on the creative side and dating. I think that particularly for me, I've been told by a lot of people, oh, you can't have a boo have a man and be an artist. You can't grow your singing career and be an artist. You're gonna be in all these studios with different men. It's a
Ooh, you
male
sound
dominated thing.
insecure.
Yada yada yada. And so
That's right, Shanae. Tell
and
them.
so I carried that with me, right? Like I've gone a long time thinking that I can't have my career, I can't build my dreams, and also have the relationship that I so love and that I so deserve and that I need and that I want. And so that's been like a hard part in the journey. But Carmen, I was wondering, and for all of my creatives out there, or just anybody out there, like, have you all ever heard that where someone's like advising you like, well, maybe you gotta build this XYZ before you could be in a relationship? Like, do you have to get to a certain space before a relationship, or can you be in a healthy relationship with someone as well as build your dreams? Because I
I
mean,
truly, truly believe I'm a person who will have 4 or 5 jobs, and I'm notorious for having a night job. And so sometimes, so my cutoff time, because I have to be at work I used to have to be at work at like 11 or so like that. So any type of dinners or whatever, I couldn't do it unless it was the weekend because I was unavailable. And to a
yeah,
certain degree, I used to feel like that cut me out of a lot of different relationships that I could have been in because people date at night and sometimes the nightcap, goes a little bit longer.
yeah,
But at the end of the day, what is for you will be for you,
yeah,
period. And you don't have to make these big major adjustments because at the end of the day, wherever you are in life, if you're working 12 jobs and you don't have time, like if there's a window of time to meet with somebody and it matters to them, Like, that's all that matters. I don't want to deal with any bullshit anymore. I don't
Right.
want to deal with trying to mold myself for this, that, and the third, and I might miss out on something. I'm
Yeah.
at peace with whoever is supposed to be for me when they're supposed to be for me. Because it maybe not this time, maybe 2 or 3 years later. I just want it when it's supposed to be. And I'm conscious of, certain things that may be a barrier. I am conscious of the barriers, but at
Yeah.
the same time, at the end of the day, like those guys who were there or who felt like I should change and mold or whatever the case is, they're not here. And I'm glad, because I see them in situations where it's just like, I'm so glad I dodged that bullet. I'm so glad that I did not adjust myself or adjust my time or adjust anything for them. I want to do what's good for the both of us. And I had guys who were just like, because I had a night job, they were just like, well, call off or whatever the case is. No, you're not gonna mess up my money, because
Right.
are you giving me money?
Right.
Can you even afford my lifestyle? Can you afford to even tell me that? So it's
Yeah.
like, that was also a sign for me. Like, if you dictating and telling me what I should do,
Yeah.
it's so many different signs that, that says like, you good with where you are. So I don't know anybody else. If y'all,
Yeah.
I start talking, I'm in my own space. But yeah,
Carmen be going in the zone. I do too. I'm gonna keep playing.
I do, and it's okay, and
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
at peace with that.
okay. Okay, so let's see. I see all this troublemaking this with Aunt P and the West Side. He bring up the good
Absolutely.
vibes, yada yada. What's up? What's up to all the new people that joined Tea Time with Lynn? Y'all, we going a little bit longer than we
We
usually do.
are.
But I'm so glad that you were joining us, and a lot of you all have
Peace,
stuck with.
Bobby.
We are gonna wrap this up in a little bit because Auntie Lynn got to eat. Okay, but Carmen and I have an amazing conversation about dating and breaking
We have
down some
part two.
things in the digital world, these dating apps, and jumping in the DMs, and also like comparing it to dating back in the day. So it's been some really good conversation. I'm gonna read some of our comments. Yes, RB said he might as well say get in the kitchen and cook. Right. Mari said, for me, I found my love when I followed my dream and I was secure in myself. And that's the key.
Ooh, that's it.
Our goal as humans should be whole and complete, and then to be open to what the universe will bring to us as we have prepared ourselves for our future mate. And so, yes, I believe that you can have your mate and follow your dream at the same time, because
Yes.
look, I'm an actress. When is the big break coming? Like,
Mm-hmm.
whenever that comes, then will I then have time to find my mate too? Like, it's still gonna be a whole nother level of activity or whatever. Mark said, and I was kind of blindsided by it, but I was ready. Bam.
Love it.
This is great. Mark said the fuck, and I don't know what
it was when I was talking about them crazy MFers. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Call off. Wow. Bobby said, grace and peace to all. Hey, how you doing?
Peace, Robert.
Flag and shout out. So again, if you're just now joining us, Tea Time with Lynn.
Hey, Mo.
Day. Thank you all for joining and being so amazing and engaging in the comments. If you have any other like questions or comments or things that you might want to talk about as we wrap this John up,
girl, we're doing a part 2.
Carmen, we just did a part 1 and a part 2 in one day.
That's a part 3.
And oh Lord, okay, Carmen. The one thing, y'all, that we didn't really talk about is shifting in and out of the friend zone. And I'm just curious, like, is this something that we want to tackle today, or do we want to talk about on a different day? What's up? Thanks for joining us, R&B. Thank you.
Okay, I think the friend zone is another conversation, because it's so many different, and it's a trigger, so there's a story.
Okay.
But that's a cliffhanger, though. That's a cliffhanger for next time. We're definitely going to talk about friend zones and who we put in friend zones, and when you've been put in friend zones and why, because it's real. What'd you say, Shanae? Girl, it's messy. Yes, it is, Shanae. Yes, it is.
I'm tired just thinking about it, y'all. Okay, well, you all have been amazing. And I don't even know who my next guest is next Tuesday, but if you follow Carmen and I, I'm gonna post about it.
I'm gonna share it.
Somebody say, yo, when it comes to the friend zone, I seem to end up in it in so many times. Real talk. Look, we all do. Like sometimes we put ourselves in the friend zone. To be honest,
That's a
we
whole
not. I'm
session.
not gonna delve up in there. But yeah, sometimes we put ourselves in the friend zone. We give up our shoot your shot moments.
Mm.
So yeah. But
Shoot
yeah,
your
you all
shot.
have been amazing. Carmen, you got anything else for the peoples?
As we wrap this up, I know that we like to tap into what our self-care advice would be. So I'm going to say this. Lately, I have been tapping into some of the elders that have, have tapped in, who have reached out to me or who have just instilled things into me. And it's so much beauty and it's so much wisdom that comes from tapping into those elders who have instilled so much in you to give back, especially during the pandemic and during this time. There are so many people who are just like stagnant. They're in their homes and sometimes they don't have anybody to talk to, but they have so much wisdom and nutrients for your brain and for your body. Like,
Yeah.
whoever you have in your phone, whoever you have information or contact information of, reach out, reach back. Those who have, instilled so many things or poured into you, give back. Like really, especially those, who are, up in age. You have no idea what they're going through. You have no idea how excited they would be to even hear from you. So, I've definitely tapped into some of the elders in the church, and they've given me so many different gems that I'm an overthinker, so it's giving me some peace. It is like they've
Yeah.
been there. They've been there. They've done that.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. So they have that wisdom. Take that wisdom and stop being engulfed with the news so much and the people that are around you that are your age. There's levels, there's growth. And they can always they allow you to be aware of things that you didn't even think of, that helps you make better decisions. So self-care, talk to an elder, family member or not. Hit them up, just check on them, give them the call. Just want to see how you're doing. That's all.
So what you gonna do to self care?
Oh, this coming week. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I am going to set that appointment for the dermatologist, for just a physical dentist. I haven't done it in a minute, so it's in a pandemic, but I need to set those appointments. Self care is taking care of your health. And just physically outside and interior, and finding a better therapist than what I have now. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
my self-care.
Okay. Um, this is a hard one. I'm gonna say that for my self care, I need to communicate some boundaries, and
Ooh.
I want to share with you all. In the I know that things don't always go perfectly or the way that I had intended, but
Mhm.
I do intend that everything that I put out is very important and very intentional. And so, with that being said, I did communicate that I was on Tea Time with Lynn and I was not able to receive or leave my platform in order to receive a package that maybe could have been received on another day. And so my boundary is to communicate thank you. However, I do take my platform seriously, and I do
Mhm.
feel a way about having to take you all in other realms, and take me out of my space to communicate
Mhm.
and have this tea time with Lynn, because I do think that this is a very important show for me to do, and very intentional. So that's why self care is going to be hard, because I like to communicate things, um, easy things or things, but this is a challenge for me. So, but I think that this is a boundary that needs to be communicated.
You win at the end when you honor it. Like
Yeah.
sometimes when you're in a logical place of what was
Yes.
worked for you, you
Yeah.
really got to stick to the plan. That's been my word. Stick to the plan, because when the emotional stuff comes in, you get convoluted and it's like things don't work out the way it's supposed to. So,
Yeah.
yeah, thank you
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah, no problem. So thank you everybody. Love you all. Have an amazing week. Can't wait to see you next Tuesday. And Carmen, thank you for being so amazing.
Thank
Um,
you for doing.
let's talk later this week, because I know you called me earlier ago. All
It
right.
was about today. It's
I
fine, but we're definitely
know.
gonna talk.
right, y'all. Take care. Oh, wait, Carmen, let's do our little smile or whatever. So I have a little cover picture. All right, bye, guys.
Bye. Thanks.